Woonsocket said no, Johnston said yes, and they're looking for the cash.
The Dan York State of Mind program is brought to you in part by Lookout Rhode Island and Takeo Comfort Solutions.
So if you were watching last night, you heard me talking with the guy who runs the entire Invenergy Burrillville power plant project, John Nyland, and he explained that there were issues with the water at Pascoag, and so they had to go shopping for water for this proposed plant, which is yet to be approved by the State Siting Commission, and there are all sorts of hoops and things he's got to go through to make sure that that project is all tidied up for approval, one of which is a water supply for this plant. And Woonsocket turned it down, and Johnston said, well, you know what, we're on this. And it was interesting that it was kind of simultaneous. And we'll talk about that tonight with the mayor of Johnston. I know this is inauguration evening, for those of you seeing the program originally for the first time. Because we record our Friday programs on Thursday, it's hard for me to reflect on the inauguration, obviously, but we will certainly do plenty of that next week. Besides, Donald Trump said he really wasn't going to start work until Monday anyway, so I think we've got some time. Here was the saga less than a couple of weeks ago as Woonsocket and Johnston were juggling for the cash on the water.
Motion passes.
Met with applause. Johnston Town Council gives the green light to provide water to the proposed Invenergy plant in Burrillville.
This is purely an economic decision. I think I'd be derelict in my duties if I didn't obviously just entertain it.
A packed crowd in Johnston, pouring out of the room and into the hallway. Signs of frustration on paper, voiced following the decision.
Am I disappointed? Yeah, very disappointed. But the process doesn't stop here. We continue, and we continue to fight this power plant.
As Johnston says yes, Woonsocket says no. Both councils had similar meetings on Tuesday at the very same time.
I think it actually gave some people some consolation that there was another option available.
Woonsocket City Council President Daniel Gendron was one of 5 members to vote no. Melissa Murray was one of 2 to say yes.
Many factors to weigh when we made this decision.
Murray says she feels the Burrillville plant will come to fruition, and she wanted to make sure Woonsocket would benefit.
I'm disappointed that we didn't get a chance at some potential much-needed revenue for our city.
President Gendron says the money Invenergy offered is no chump change, but argues the impact to the public's health and water just isn't worth it.
It was a 20-year lasting process that I just couldn't commit to.
A different decision also met with praise.
It's a victory for us this evening.
I feel like I'm a daughter of the city and a product of the city, and I'm very proud.
And we received a statement from Invenergy following tonight's decision. It reads in part, while we are disappointed Woonsocket decided not to move ahead with us, we're pleased to have identified our water supplier. We look forward to continuing the review process of this critically important project. And again, if the power plant in Burrillville does become a reality, Johnston would receive more than $18 million over the next 20 years.
You stole it right from them, didn't you?
Well, not really. They had their vote, and they voted no, and we decided that we would take the money off their hands.
Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Thank you. Happy New Year to you, sir.
The saga was laid out pretty accurately there, no doubt. They knocked on your door, right?
Correct.
Tell us the story.
Well, originally they knocked on my door probably 3 weeks prior to when I decided to make the decision. And they needed a secondary source of water, so they asked us to be the backup. And they offered us, they came in, they said, here's what we're gonna do for you, we're gonna give you $100,000. I said, well, wait a minute, you're gonna give Woonsocket $500,000, so you're gonna give the bride $500,000 and the bridesmaid $100,000. I said, we should at least get $250. And they, well, we don't know. So they were gentlemen. They walked out. Can we talk about it? They came back. Then they went up to $150, and I said, no, that's not enough. I said, that doesn't even, no pun intended, quench my thirst. I said, I have to work off of my tax base. So they said, what are you looking for? So I said, $200,000 for 10 years would be fine. So they agreed to it, and then they said, you may be back up and be the primary source of water supply if Woonsocket says no. I said, that's fine. So I had spoken to the council members one at a time, spoke with them, told them to think about it for a couple of days. A couple of them said, what are you, crazy? What's there to think about? This is great for the town. There's no infrastructure improvements we have to do. There's nothing we have to do, but maybe get a bigger faucet, but just to turn the water on. And they all said, yes, this was a great idea. And we were working against time. As I said, they had to have this done by, I believe, the 11th if my dates are correct. We voted on a Tuesday. They had to have it approved by Wednesday, having a water source, or else the project obviously would have failed. So we decided to go forward with it. You know, I'm getting a lot of people saying that I didn't advertise the meetings legally. Yes, I did. I have probably one of the best attorneys in the state of Rhode Island, and I run everything through him. And we advertised it on the Secretary of State's website. So one person said, "Why'd you do that?" I said, "Where are you from?" They said, "Gloucester." I said, "Well, do you really look at the Johnston website?" "Well, no." I said, "So at least you had a chance to see it on the Secretary of State's website." We advertised.
Yeah, because I check that every day. Lex, don't you check that? Kev, you check that Secretary of State's website every day, don't you?
Every day.
That's, well, we put it on there.
It's the legal notice.
It's the legal notice.
Well, I wouldn't get I'm not here to get bogged down.
No,
in
it's
those
legal,
things.
by the way. Everything's legal.
Yep, I would imagine.
The vote was legal. It doesn't have to be a public. It's a public meeting, but not a public hearing.
Here's the thing. The idea that Woonsocket said no and Johnston said yes. Reflection?
I just don't. I mean, I think maybe I don't know. I don't know what was on their mind. Maybe it was political pressure. I don't know. I mean, I know that. To be quite frank with you, I haven't had one person say to me, from Johnston that is, "What are you, out of your mind? Why did you do that?" Because that money is going to go to help. It's going to be for tax relief. It's going to help our obviously our youth, our elderly. I want to put programs in the library. I want to do some sports programs. Buy our seniors a new bus.
Well,
I want to do a lot of things.
You've done a good job in capitalizing on some controversies financially for the town. You've got new athletic facilities because of a controversy, right?
Correct. We were getting stunk out, as I say, and that's what I told these people that were calling me. When not to digress, but we were getting stunk out. Where were you? I never heard from you before.
Yes.
And anyway, we had odors with the landfill and Broad Rock Energy. I filed suit against them. We settled out of court. $3 million from Broad Rock, $3 million from Resource Recovery, and Resource Recovery had asked me if I could get Broad Rock to get a private, get Broad Rock to have a private company to extricate the gas. They would give me an extra $2 million.
Broad Rock, for everybody, is the operator.
It's the operator of the landfill's methane gas.
Right.
And I was able to be successful and do that, so we got an extra $2 million. So I used that money for all town improvements. We needed a needed ladder truck for the fire department. That was $750,000. We spruced up the town hall. We put a new handicap accessible ramp and an elevator. We built a high school athletic complex. The company that did our complex did Patriot Stadium. And we did a few more things, so we were able to do things that we didn't have to take out of our budget.
Well, this landfill thing is kind of an interesting thing. It's an interesting juxtaposition, actually, because those who would oppose what you've done here would suggest that you're not thinking about the big picture and the environment and all of that. They opposed the power plant. I mean, there's nothing environmental that has to do with you turning on a spigot, having a couple of trucks parked to be able to pick up the water and go their way up to the Burrillville power plant. It is kind of manna from heaven, this opportunity for Johnston. And I wouldn't know what reasonable municipal official would say no to it, and that's why I can't figure out what Woonsocket did, other than they're being contiguous and having some neighbor type of pressure from those environmental types who say this thing is going to be a disaster for everybody. That's a long-winded commentary / question. Reflection on all that consideration and the environmental pressure and that versus the life you've had to lead with a sticky Johnston for a while.
Dan, the day that I have to, and I got, by the way, we got calls from California, from Detroit, the day of the vote, from Detroit, because obviously it was out there, New Jersey, Delaware, of course, Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and the day that I have to obviously go by what people from out of state say, and of course other cities and towns, then the day I'll just throw the keys on the table and walk out the town hall, which some people might be happy that I do that, but that's the day I listen to my constituents, and I thought, that it was best for my constituents to get $18 million over 20 years to do absolutely nothing. They're going to buy the trucks. They're going to buy a building. The money is just phenomenal, and we can do a lot of good things.
And the water comes through what auspice?
We have about 40 years ago, they created the Johnston water system, and it fed the western part of Johnston. We have like a 750,000 gallon tank in the west end, and we have about 1,800 customers. And that's when they came to us, and once again, I looked at the contract 4 or 5 times. I'm a nurse by trade, not a lawyer, but I have a lot of common sense.
And you did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But anyway, I looked at the agreement with Providence Water. It's open-ended. We can buy as much water as we want or as little water as we want and sell it to whomever we want. and there's nothing that anyone can do about that.
Yeah, the funny thing is that you get the water from Providence, you're going to give it to Burrillville
At a profit.
at a profit.
Of course. What a great country.
You trade stocks too?
Nope.
I mean,
My taxpayers will be the benefit on the other end, that's for sure.
Mayor Lorza, however, oh, shame, shame, shame.
Well.
He refuses to get into that business from Providence because he has a philosophical problem with the landfill. Interesting.
With the power plant.
I'm sorry, with the power
Right.
plant. Thank
Well,
you.
that's his opinion, and he's more than entitled to his opinion, but I know that, my constituents are $18 million richer over the next 20 years. And that's what it's all about. And once again, to actually do nothing at all but collect money and sell water at a profit.
Now, as you were able to inform me, now again, we record the Friday program on Thursday. There might have been, for you watching this, last night some kind of resolution from the Providence City Council regarding this transactional issue, water from Providence to Johnston up to Burrillville. Your reaction, thought, if that actually occurred, and most likely did?
Sure, well, the council members have a right to put any resolution they want, but quite frankly, I would fight that till the very end if they tried to do that. First of all, there's nothing they can do about it. And the other good thing...
Well, the contract's not with the city of Providence.
No, it's not. It's not. But from what I understand, the resolution is telling the Providence Water, do we have the right to buy water, stop it, whatever. But I have to tell you this, one of the other items that was placed in the agreement is we're indemnified by Invenergy, which means if there's any legal challenge, and not my taxes pay for it, Invenergy pays for it. And they have a really good law firm, Adler, Pollock & Sheen, who's excellent. So I feel very confident if we have to go to court, because quite frankly, if they're going to try and take $18 million away from my taxpayers, and I don't like to sue people, but we'll be in court in a New York second, as they say. So, and it won't cost my taxpayers any money to sue them.
When we come back, we're going to talk about how the mayor takes a lot of this stuff for his town very personally. Stay with us. Mayor Polisena and I had a conversation last week on the radio about Johnston and the way I'll fight for my $18 million for the water, and I'll fight. You wear this kind of chip on your shoulder regarding the town of Johnston. What is that all about?
Well, it's not so much a chip. It's just that, once again, the so-called environmentalists, and I say so-called, when they were calling, and I kept saying to them, where were you when we were getting stunk out for 9 months? And they would make rather ethnic remarks about my Italo-American community, and we were gangsters and wops and guineas, and that's all you care about is money, which I took great umbrage to. So, as I said, we have a great town. The people are great. The people make the town, quite frankly. We're becoming a more diverse town. It's just a beautiful town. The people are beautiful. So I do take offense when people comment, as I said before, people who don't live in the town, people who live in other cities and towns, they should really look in the mirror before they start making comments about my community.
Do you have a broader responsibility as a leading mayoral figure? And I think you are. And I think we've talked about this before. I am thankful that what I call the mezzanine level of government in this state has risen to a level of, I think, terrific competence on the most part, and stature, meaning mayors and town administrators. And it really is this kind of collegiality that you wrapped around the lieutenant governor. I mean,
right.
The lieutenant governor, he's not deserving of all of the credit. I think every one of you are leaders in your thing. But it was kind of like our version of the Gang of Eight in some way, the mayors in this town. And so you all have your own boundaries to protect and fiduciary responsibility in your community. At the same time, you become formidable on statewide issues, yes? Don't you think?
Absolutely.
So when someone says, what about the, this is an outside Johnston consideration for this money.
Well, here's the thing too, Dan. I'm not saying anything, but
by the way, I don't think it's a bad decision.
No,
I'm just saying, do you factor that stuff in, or is it just my town, my fight, my people?
It's my community. I have no plans on running for statewide office, so I don't have to be politically correct. I have 2 years left on this term, and when I run again for my final 4 years, the people will decide if they want to put me in or not. I'm not running for statewide office, by no means. Maybe other mayors, maybe they want to be politically correct and they're worried about running for statewide office about these so-called environmentalists, and getting repercussions after. I'm not running for statewide office. I love Johnston.
It frees you to say what you think.
Absolutely. Positively, absolutely, yes. Yes. and more.
All right, so let's switch gears. Tell me what you think about a couple of things. Let's talk about the car tax.
Sure.
What's your rate?
42 change.
Double mine in Cumberland.
Yep.
So if I moved to Johnston, my car would cost me twice as much on a taxable basis.
Correct.
That's ridiculous.
Well, yes, and I'm going to, if I can obviously interject.
you-
I remember 2010 was the year that Don O.K. Kacheri decided that he was going to balance the state budget on the cities and towns by taking away the general revenue sharing and putting the car tax back on everybody. So I think if he didn't take the general revenue sharing away, we could have absorbed the car tax, but I couldn't do both and have a balanced budget. So basically, you know, I mean, I have signs in Town Hall when you come in, if you will, there's signage that says it was not, obviously, the town of Johnston who changed the car tax. I'm paraphrasing what it says. So this was taken away from us, and the car tax is very unfair.
Well, let's just make sure we're accurate. When Don Kacheri saw a problem with the budget, the recession reaction, he said, look, I've done all I can to tighten up the state budget. Now it's going to be the communities who go through the same pain. I mean, I had those debates with him continually. I told him that I thought this might be is a not very good decision because there's not as much flexibility at the municipal level as there might have been on the state level to cure overspending, if you will. And what he did was give the General Assembly in the budget the opportunity to give the towns the opportunity to lower the threshold of exemption on the car from $6,000 to $500. That ended up being a decision you opted for.
Correct.
Under duress.
Exactly. Once again, I don't think the governor worked hard enough to balance his budget. To be quite frank with you, he kept blaming it on the mayors. Like we were like the evil empire. But the thing is, when you take the general revenue sharing away, which we lost almost $5 million, now you're going to take the exemption of car tax away. Something's got to give here.
So when we, you know what, let's pause here. So when we come back, I want to talk about this because there are two competing proposals now between the Speaker and the Governor. I want to hear what the Mayor Johnston thinks about that. Be right back. So Speaker Mattiello wants to reduce the car tax or eliminate the car tax over a 5-year phase-out plan. And I'm guessing he's going to get into going back into the exemption game that we used to have, which is the first couple $1,000s of your car isn't taxed, then the next 4, then the next 8, all the way up until no more tax. Gina Raimondo says, I got a 1-year plan. I'm going to reduce the value, the Vehicle Value Commission, which I think is the nuttiest, dumbest idea ever, will now, by 30%, reduce the clean retail value of your plan. Your gut on either one of those proposals is?
Anything will help. You know, quite frankly, as a taxpayer, my wife has a 2007 Honda, and it's assessed now more, I think, than when I bought it back in '07. So any plan will help. I would like to see the elimination, quite frankly, of the car tax eventually, and I think that's the Speaker's point. And I know that the Governor has come up with the 30%. But I think people want to see actually the car tax fade away because it's an onerous tax. There's no doubt about it.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so you're at $40 per thousand.
40 change.
My town, I'm at $19.80, so it's $20. Okay, so in Cumberland, I'm paying half of what you're paying if the value is the same. So if we eliminate your $40 over time, you're going to get that value of money from the state back to Johnston. Correct. Cumberland gets $20 per thousand. They get less.
Well, not really. Not really. Because if you, let me just use a number. Just say Johnston was getting $2 million a year to supplement the $6,000 exemption, and they're going to phase that in over 5 years. We get X amount of dollars. If Cumberland was only getting $1 million a year, I mean, just to make, all I want to see is us made whole. And it does, you know, look, Providence has a high tax, car tax, but they should be made whole also. We want to go back to the way it was when the state kicked in and helped pay the $6,000 exemption.
I hear that, and but here's what happens. As you replenish the money, it changes the equation of what property tax on we're talking about commercial and residential property tax. This gets so complicated. Can we say this, that there is no simple process to eliminate the car tax, either via the Speaker's idea or the Governor's idea right now?
And I give them credit, both of them credit, because something has to be done and the people are clamoring for it.
Well, do you agree with me that we need, if not an elimination of the car tax, at least a balanced plan like the Commonwealth has, where it's $25 per thousand on the retail sticker of the car with a depreciation schedule for everybody. Everybody pays the same rate. Wouldn't you rather have Johnston and Cumberland and Providence all paying the same rate?
The concept is good, but as long as the cities and towns are made whole, because then I'd have
Which
to
is
go to
going
the
to
property
require
tax.
a property tax adjustment as well.
We don't want to do that. I mean, we don't want to go after the property tax person because, listen, no tax is fair. Let me say this.
Well,
No-
remember in Massachusetts, this all came from Proposition 2.5,
2.5,
which limited the spending for the taxpayers. It was all part of a comprehensive package.
Correct. But the issue is when you're looking at the car tax, it's no tax is fair. Let me say that. In most cases. But when you look at someone who's living renting, whether it's an apartment or so, and technically they have 2 or 3 children in the school system at X amount of dollars per child, I should say, then at least they're and they're not. Let's say they're living in a 2-family home, and the 2-family home's only being taxed. I'm just using a number at say $7,000 a year, and there's someone living downstairs with 3 children, someone living upstairs with 2 children. Basically, to get the money from the homeowner of that home, you know, it's not enough money because it's about $17,000 per child to educate a child in Johnston. That doesn't count for special education services. However, at least they're going to pay something. The people that are renting are going to pay something. No tax is fair, but why shift the burden over to the homeowners? That's my thing.
Yeah,
You understand what I'm?
I understand what you're saying. Point is, I don't think you can eliminate the car tax in a vacuum.
No,
That's my
not
point.
at all. There are minds sharper than mine, you know, that are going to have to. The financial people are going to have to figure out how do we make the cities and towns whole, and how do we give the residents of the state car tax relief and make it fair.
And some consistency in
Yes.
terms of tax expectations.
Absolutely.
You know, it's a nutty thing. Are you bullish on 2017 with a lot of the governor's proposals and the like?
I just got some good ideas. I mean, obviously, as an educator, I mean, I worked as
Don't tell me you like this free tuition thing.
Well, no, let me say this. The free tuition issue, what I would like to see is either a means test. Now, there's no details yet. And as they always say, the devil's in the details. There's no details yet. However, I think, too, if someone's going to get 2 years of school on the taxpayers, let's say, let's say they're going to go to CCRI, which has one of the best nursing programs around. They're going to go to CCRI and get 2 years of free tuition in nursing. I think that person, when they graduate and they're licensed and they're credentialed, I think they should go back to a community, whether it's Providence, an inner city community, and at least give back 500 hours of community service as a nurse working in a health center, a health clinic, and at least getting something back. My father always told me, nothing's free, because if I give it to you for free, you're not going to appreciate it. Right. So she has some good ideas, and we need to educate our workforce. There's no doubt about it.
All right. Keep up the battle.
Thank you.
Good transaction for Johnston, no doubt. Fighting for Johnston. Wasn't that Louis Vinagro who said he was going to fight for Johnston? Oh, no, that was Al Gore who was going to fight for Cranston. I'm sorry. We'll be right back. Well, they just caught me off the break. Sometimes I think the show is over. Sorry. Hope you have a good weekend. Go Pats, right, Kev? Right. 6:45 start. They probably will manhandle the Steelers because the Steelers gave them too much locker room material. It's not social media, the poison of America, no doubt. We have a new president, and we will spend a goodly amount of time on the inauguration next week with analysis. Of course, Donald Trump gets to work, he says, on Monday, and who knows what executive orders will change the world as of next week. Hang in there. We'll see you on the radio as well on Monday at 3 on WPRO. Thanks for watching. Good night.